Have you ever wondered why your teammates are throwing your games?
Passively playing video games while I sit home and making six figures. Don't mind me.
What?
The answer to this is quite simple. A lot of Valorant players believe that they are the best players in the game. Today, I'll be breaking down the key reasons on why these players decide to throw our games. Let's get into it. Everyone knows that there is nothing worse than taking accountability for your actions. Instead of reflecting on their gameplay and looking for areas to improve, these players would rather blame their teammates, which this could also be said about you. Are you blaming your teammates? Are you the one that's throwing the game, whether you know it or not? Jokes aside, a lot of players don't want to acknowledge their own fault. This is part of the reason why they will start yelling at their teammates. A lot of times, this will even lead to arguments amongst the team, which typically results in well, I don't have to explain that. It's also part of the reason they get mad when your team makes a mistake, which leads me to my second point, short temper. The short temper that these players have is truly impressive. The smallest inconvenience will set them off in an instant. The Valorant players can be very petty, which means if you make them angry, they would rather see you lose than win the game. Instead of calming and giving info to the team, it's very likely that they will just turn their mic off altogether. Or there's a good chance they'll just start yelling.
How did you die more times than the round exists? We've played 12 rounds and you have 13 dead. How?
Usually if it gets this far, it's pretty difficult to de-escalate the situation. But if you can manage to do this, then props to you. Most of the time, if it gets this far anyway, your teammates have already given up on trying to win, which goes back to what I said earlier. The Valorant players can be very petty, which means if you make them angry, they would rather see you lose than win the game. The last point that I want to talk about is their performance issues. Unlike in the bedroom, these issues could be different each time. Whether it's a lack of skill or confidence, they will think of any excuse to justify why they are underperforming. Sometimes they may even claim that they are not trying, or they're smurfing and they don't care. Sometimes they may even say they're throwing their rank to play with their friends. Whether it's true or not, you may never know. But to avoid it even getting that far, it's best to just not comment on their gameplay. The more things that you can do to not tilt your teammates is for the better. If you can avoid tilting your teammates in the first place, then you'll probably have a higher chance of them not throwing. And the next time that you get into a game with one of these players, send them my video and tell them to comment the name of their favorite president.